get your web guy to do it, or what I believe is that you need to know how to do it yourself, because that way you can just put stuff up as and when you want, even test stuff, or you can put a site up literally in 20 minutes. And that's really what we're going to look at here today. Now, the requirements for setting this up are hosting an account that offers cPanel. And the reasons basically you need to have cPanel is because cPanel has something called Fantastico in it, or in some hosts we'll call Simple Scripts, which allows you to actually install WordPress on the domain of your choice. Now, it's pretty straightforward to install, and we're going to go through that. You can set the actual site on your actual main domain, or you can put it in a separate directory. It's your choice. I'm going to show you how to do that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now how it's actually done. Okay, so we're in the main hosting account. Okay, and as you can see here, it will say cPanel, and you're going to see all these different icons. Okay, so these are the things that actually control your websites. Okay, so you've got email, you've got specific preferences, files, the logs where you can actually access stats. For this, I normally use AW stats off here when you actually want to check the stats of your website, but I'm going to show you alternative ways to do that anyway. Databases, domains, software services, and that's where we're interested. Okay, that's where we're interested, is in ultimately we'll be coming back here. But the first things first, what we need to do is actually set up the domain, and where you actually go to is the advanced area, and you come to a thing called WHM, which is called Web Host Manager, because we actually want to put the domain in that we want to use to set up a site on. So firstly, we go to Web Host Manager, we click that, and what will happen is we'll just ask me to put in the password again, and that will just take me through to the actual Web Host Manager area where you control all your domains. Okay, where you control all your domains. And there we'll be able to add the domain to our account and then go back in and install actually WordPress on it. So what I've done, I've actually taken the domain, I've already sort of redirected the name servers towards it, and I'll show you as we process of how that works as we actually set up the domain on this particular hosting. And it's different from every, the name servers are actually different for every host that you actually use. So let's just wait for that to actually log in. Okay, now we're into the actual Web Host Manager area, and here you can see from the left hand side it'll just give you all of what actually controls everything within. And most of it you really don't need to bother with, but I'm going to take you through what you really need to bother with. And the first thing we're going to do, we come to the account functions area, and we want to list a new account. So we click new account, and from here we'll actually be able to put in our new domain. Now I've just got a domain. I thought I'd put a little bit of niche site up for a bit of fun, and it's about travel audiobooks. So here you actually place the new account. So this particular domain is called Travel Audio Books. Oh, whoops. Travel audiobooks.com. Okay, so whoops, why is that saying that to me? Not a valid domain. Okay, travelaudiobooks.com. Then we just basically put a user. Now it will automatically by default give you an idea. If you want to change that, that's fine. I'll just keep that for now, and then then you create a password. Let's make sure that's okay. And they'll ask you to put it back in again. Okay, now you can put an email in here if you want to. It's your choice. I normally leave it blank. Doesn't really matter. Then you choose the package. Now if you've just got one package, I've got two on here, so I'll specify I want it to put it into that particular package. Settings is English. Just leave it at that. Here basically is where the DNS settings. It's what's called name servers. Now, wherever you actually bought the domain, if it's not on the same account where you're the same the company you hosted, you're going to host with, then you need to change them. So technically, you just go to where your domain is, click it in your account, follow the instructions for name servers, and all you do is pop in NS1 or NS2, just copy and paste it so they point at your host. That's it, and it's all done. Normally takes anywhere from an hour up to 24 hours to set to point at your host, but it literally just pop those in. If you already know, if you obviously know what they were before, you can just do it and you buy the domain. But anyway, that's where you would find where you want to point to. So I've already done that, and at this point now, all I do is click create. So what will happen now is that it's actually going to go away and start setting up this this account. So it's creating a new account right now. And once this is done, we need to go into two other areas to make sure that we ultimately have enough space, because we're going to be installing WordPress on here and also putting in plugins. So you can see there you go, it's all set up. Now what we need to do is to make sure that we've got enough space. So we come over here and come to a place that's called quota modification. So we click on that and it will list our domains. So we've just put in here travel audiobooks. So we go to there, come down, and there it is, it's installed, and then we click modify. Okay, now you can see it's given us 20 megabytes by default, but we're going to need more because we're going to install WordPress on it, plus we're going to put in plugins. So I would put something like about, let's say 80 for that mark, and then just click change. There you go, and let's change the quota. The next thing we want to do is just change the bandwidth, because if we're going to put a lot of data, if you're going to build a big website, we want to make sure we've got plenty of bandwidth. So we just click again on the left hand side here, limit bandwidth usage. Okay, so we just click that. Again, it will give you the list of accounts, and we go to the bottom and click on the site, click limit, and it will give us 50. So I would just put something like about 750. You don't worry, you can put this to unlimited. It's not going to make any difference, much difference in your account. It's a question of what you use. So just put that so you know you're not going to have any issues, and then just click change. Okay. Now, as such, this site now should be actually set up as far as being able to access. So what we need to do now, we'll open up another browser, so another tab, and we'll put in here www.travelaudioBooks.com/cpanel. So that's to actually access that website to install WordPress. So all things being equal now, there you go. Well, it's come up to log in. So I'll just log in. And what how we log in is by putting in the username and password that we just created. So I'm going to put that in. Okay, and then just click OK. I'll just click to save that. And this will now log me in directly to the actual cPanel to control this particular website. Okay. Now, once this loads, that's just coming up to say to get just tutorials. We'll click no, it's not fine. We'll scroll down and we come back to what I showed you just a little bit earlier, where it says Fantastico. Okay, Fantastico Deluxe. It may on some hosting accounts say Simple Scripts. Most of them it will say Fantastico. At this point, we click that icon, and it will take us through now to install WordPress and to create our website. Okay, now just wait and see if that comes up. So there you go. Now on the left hand side here, you're going to have all sorts of things that you can actually install for blogs, Evolution, Nucleus. There's WordPress, content management, all that Joomla, and all Drupal and all this sort of stuff. But what we're interested is WordPress. So what we do is we click on WordPress, and here it will say new installation. Now the reason that you can see why I increased the disk space is because, as you can see, it's going to require that to install it. Okay, 10.73 megabytes. So what I'll basically do is click on new installation. And now we set ourselves up. As you can see, install on domain travelaudiobooks.com. Now we want to install it straight on that domain. However, you could, if you wanted to, install it on another directory. Okay, so if you created a subdomain of a site within that, say for example, I created a subdomain calling it spain.travelaudiobooks.com, I could set it on that directory if I wanted to. Or I could install WordPress on the root domain, which is Travel Audiobooks, and install WordPress on the subdomain. It's your choice. But 9 times out of 10, obviously, you just want to set it on the main. Here, what you need to do is then you set up the access date. And I'm going to show you, this is very simple. I just use, for example, admin. Okay, and then I just create a password. In fact, I'll just put the same one as I used before. Just use that one, and then down here you have like a base configuration. You can call yourself a nickname, put in your email. I basically don't do it because otherwise sometimes you get a lot of emails coming through. You can change it to whatever you want. If you want to put an admin email in here to come to your Gmail or something like that, that's fine. At this point, we're ready to install WordPress, and we just click install. Okay. Now while that's now installing onto our site, we click installation. And all things being equal, we now have our website up and running. So what I'll just do is I'll just log out of here and come up to the browser. And we'll just type in the name of the site we've just set up, which is travelaudiobooks.com, and it should be showing now with the default template that WordPress offers. So wait, there you go, and there is our website that we've just put up. Now, this is how all sites come up with this default theme, okay, to start with. But as you can see, we now have the outline of our site. Okay, we now have the outline of our site. What we want to do next is to go into the content management system, okay, the back end. And the way this works is very simply on everything is that you put the domain name into your browser, travelaudiobooks.com / then it goes WP-admin. Okay, WP-admin. Then just go to that, and then you'll be able to access straight away the back end of the site. Okay, the back end of the site. So once there you go. So now it's going to ask us for our username and password. And if you remember what we just did a few seconds ago, there's our username. There's our password, and that should now let us log in to the back end of the site. Okay, I'll take you through that quickly. There you go. So there is now the content management system to control your website. What you're seeing first and foremost, that the key elements are on the left hand side here. One, you have posts where you'll be able to sort of add new posts, categories, and we're going to go through all that. Media, audio, video, links, we won't bother too much about that. Pages for your site, comments, the appearance where we actually do themes and widgets and menus. Plugins, which are going to be totally crucial because this is what we're really, the real element of what we're trying to do here. Users, tools, and settings. Okay. Now before